Many people hear the words gold and XRP together and immediately think of hype, promises, or unrealistic claims. This video is not built on speculation. It is a factual explanation of what is actually happening behind the scenes in financial infrastructure today. In this breakdown, you will learn what tokenized gold really means, how physical gold can be represented digitally, and why certain blockchains are being chosen for real-world assets instead of experimental platforms. We will clearly separate what is technically possible from what is legally required. If you want to understand why the XRP Ledger is being considered for tokenized gold, what role regulation, custody, and audits play, and why structure matters more than speed or hype, then this explanation will give you clarity instead of noise. This explanation is written as a clear, factual research narrative. It is not designed to create excitement or promises, but to explain structure, process, and reality. Tokenized gold is no longer a theory or a future concept. It is actively moving toward real blockchain infrastructure, and multiple industry participants have already confirmed this direction. What makes this development important is not marketing or speculation, but structure. Regulated custody, auditable reserves, real settlement speed, and a blockchain designed specifically for asset issuance are what separate serious infrastructure from experimental projects. Tokenized gold arriving on the XRP Ledger represents a meaningful step forward for real-world asset adoption. Tokenized gold refers to real, physical gold that is securely stored and legally owned, with digital tokens issued to represent specific ownership rights. Each token corresponds to a defined quantity of physical gold, held by professional and insured custodians, with independent audits verifying that the reserves actually exist. These tokens allow ownership to be transferred, settled, or redeemed without physically moving the metal itself. Tokenization does not replace gold. It upgrades how gold moves, settles, and integrates into modern financial systems. One of the key players in this space is Meld Gold, an Australian-based digital commodities platform focused on bringing precious metals onto blockchain rails in a compliant and regulated manner. Meld Gold works directly with licensed gold dealers and vault operators to digitize ownership of physical gold and silver. Their role is not speculative. They ensure full backing, professional custody, and auditability, while bridging traditional bullion markets with blockchain infrastructure. Importantly, Meld Gold has been actively operating in this space since 2024, long before tokenized metals became a popular narrative. Meld Gold's expansion toward the XRP Ledger aligns with a broader industry shift toward blockchains that are purpose-built for financial assets rather than experimentation. This connection is practical, not theoretical. The XRP Ledger supports native token issuance without smart contract risk, offers compliance-friendly features for regulated issuers, settles transactions in seconds, and maintains extremely low fees even at scale. This is not an experimental pairing. It is an infrastructure match. Industry confirmation has reinforced this direction, including public statements from developers and educators indicating that tokenized gold is coming to the XRP Ledger. Validators have highlighted the XRPL's deterministic settlement, reliability under heavy load, decade-long uptime, and native support for issued assets. These confirmations matter because validators understand the ledger at a structural level. They see how it behaves under real conditions, not just ideal ones. The XRP Ledger offers a combination of speed, cost predictability, reliability, and built-in tokenization that very few blockchains can match simultaneously. Gold does not tolerate uncertainty. Settlement delays, unpredictable fees, and technical risk are unacceptable for precious metals. The XRP Ledger provides certainty, which is why it stands out as a natural fit for tokenized gold and silver. Precious metals require stability, not experimentation. The XRP Ledger was designed for value transfer rather than speculation, with standardized asset issuance and simpler regulatory integration compared to DeFi-heavy chains. It scales without compromising cost predictability. For metals, boring infrastructure is the best infrastructure. If gold and silver begin settling on-chain with real-time finality, low operational costs, clear jurisdictional rules, and institutional-grade custody, then tokenized metals move beyond niche products into mainstream financial instruments. This is how mass adoption actually happens, not through slogans or promises, but through usability and trust. At that point, the question is no longer whether the XRP ledger can tokenize gold. Technically, it already can. The real questions are who guarantees the physical gold, where it is stored, under which legal jurisdiction it falls, and what happens in insolvency or dispute scenarios. These answers define credibility, not the blockchain itself. Tokenized gold only works at scale when structure is clear. Custody defines who physically holds the gold. Audits prove that the gold actually exists. Issuance defines how tokens are created. Redemption defines how gold can be reclaimed. Without this structure, a token is merely a claim, not ownership. It is also important to correct a common misunderstanding. XRP itself is not backed by gold. What is true is that XRP can function as a bridge asset. The XRP Ledger can host gold-backed tokens, and gold tokens may use XRPL rails for settlement. Confusing infrastructure with backing leads to false conclusions. The XRP Ledger enables gold-based assets to move efficiently. It does not replace gold, and it does not turn XRP into a commodity-backed currency. Understanding this distinction is critical to avoiding unrealistic expectations. Ultimately, adoption is the only metric that matters. Tokenized gold narratives may sound impressive, but readiness means nothing without active users, deep liquidity, credible issuers, and regulatory acceptance. Infrastructure enables adoption, but adoption validates infrastructure. Tokenization also signals something broader. Precious metals are entering the digital settlement era. Traditional stores of value are merging with modern blockchain efficiency. Gold and silver are not being disrupted. They are being modernized to function inside evolving financial systems. This reflects real demand, not speculation. Tokenized gold moving onto the XRP ledger is therefore not a marketing event. It is an infrastructure milestone. The involvement of established commodity platforms, confirmations from technical validators, and the XRPL's proven design point toward a future where physical assets settle with digital efficiency. The success of this transition will depend on custody, audits, jurisdiction, and trust, not hype. When real gold moves on-chain with real guarantees, the conversation shifts from whether it can be done to why it would be done any other way. When gold is tokenized, it becomes technically possible for previously off-ledger gold holdings to be represented on-ledger. However, this is only valid if the gold is legally proven, independently audited, custodially verified, and issued under a recognized legal jurisdiction. Only under those conditions can digital gold certificates exist that represent lawful ownership and settlement value. Simply placing gold on a blockchain does not legitimize it. The blockchain records ownership claims, but it does not create legal title. For historical bonds to be paid using tokenized gold, several non-negotiable requirements must be met. The gold must be legally owned and jurisdictionally recognized. Custody must be verifiable through licensed vaults. Independent audits must confirm quantity and purity. Issuance must be authorized by sovereign or court-recognized entities. Settlement mechanisms must comply with international financial law. Without these elements, digital gold certificates remain symbolic rather than legally enforceable instruments. Bringing large off-ledger gold holdings on-chain is a complex, multi-jurisdictional process, and the global banking system is not yet structurally ready for it. We inform, you choose. In this library, we do not publish false hope or sensational claims. The information shared here is based on real-world structure, law, and financial reality. If this explanation helped you understand what is actually happening, consider subscribing, sharing your thoughts in the comments, and joining the Gesera for All Telegram group via the link in the comments for ongoing research-based updates.